want to talk about the subject of how do we handle a crisis in our lives. In the journey of life, all of us face somewhere along the way a crisis, something that happens in our life unexpectedly. And so what do we do with that? How do we handle it? King Jehoshaphat in the Old Testament in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, he suddenly had a crisis arriving on his doorstep with one of his servants came with a message that a great multitude was going to come against Judah. And Jehoshaphat's first reaction was to fear. And sometimes that can be our reaction too, to fear. But then it says that Jehoshaphat set himself to seek the Lord. It's the Lord that helps us in this relationship we have with him. He helps us in every situation of life, including crises and unexpected happenings that come our way. And so he set himself to seek the Lord. And then he called all the people, the men, the women, the children, and everybody to come to seek the Lord and to look to the Lord and to inquire of the Lord. And he began to pray a prayer, reminding God of all of his goodness, how he had led them, how he had helped them, how he had protected them. And then as they're waiting and worshiping before the Lord, the prophet of the Lord begins to speak in the midst. And he says, "Don't be dismayed, don't be afraid for the reason of the greatness of this multitude that's coming against you. For the Lord says, the battle is mine, not yours. The battle is mine, saith the Lord." And so the people rejoiced. And then they went to sleep that night. And they slept well, I believe. But when they rose in the morning, Jehoshaphat reminded the people about the enemy that was coming. And he says, if you will believe the words of the prophets, you will prosper. We will prosper. And so he set himself and he said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And so he arranged a particular and unusual approach to this battle that was going to ensue on this new day. And he got all the singers together. He got the worshippers together. Instead of sending over the hill to meet this enemy with his best soldiers, instead of that, he got all the singers together. And he sent them forth first, before the rest of the army, as singing the songs of holiness unto the Lord. And so they went forth in this manner. And when they came over the hill, they looked, and all the enemy had been slain. For God had set ambushments against the enemy and confusion in such a way that all the enemy had slain one another, and they were lying dead on the ground. And all the people had to do was to go in there and pick up all the spoils of that battle. And they won it because God said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. They spent 3 days collecting all the spoils of that battle. And so as crises come into your life and my life, when we seek the Lord and we start to worship the Lord and we start to inquire of the Lord, and we allow the Lord to speak to us, we will find that God will come. And he says, the battle is not yours, it's mine, saith the Lord. So this is God's message to you today, that you will understand that when crises come into your life, that the Lord will be there, and the Lord will speak to you, and the Lord will provide a way where there is no way, and he will perform miracles on behalf of you as well.